Because there was always seemed to be a lot of thought put into the live shows, and was that definitely a conscious decision, even before even in the late 70s?
Yeah, we loved the live shows. It was the centre of it for us, and we didn't want to go on there and just recreate the records. We wanted to make every show something special and experience. So yeah, we went for it, and we were thinking of stuff all the time. Like the Now I'm Here thing was conceived very much for stage, and I remember thinking in my little head, now I'm here, this offers us some opportunities for some funny things going on. So Fred would, we would have some device where Fred would be magically over here, and then over here, and then somewhere else. And then the big opening. We kind of were getting a feel for what audiences wanted. But it's based on what we wanted, because we as boys used to go and see The Who, and I'll never forget sitting in front of Pete Townshend's rack of amps and hearing him just plug in and play a chord. It was just the most electrifying thing I'd ever heard. And they were into light and shade and drama, and there was a certain danger in The Who. I don't know if any of you guys are as old as me, but probably not. But boy, it was something incredible. And you never knew if they were going to get on stage or not, because they were always, they were wild boys or whatever, and that kind of added to the thing. But basically the light and shade was something that Pete Townsend understood. There was some danger, and there was some hugeness and some smallness, control, and then lack of control. And we learned from everybody. And being boys, we like to see what boys do best.
She's played rock and roll, I said very quietly. Moving close to the present day on the subject of live shows, started using pitch shifters.
Yeah.
Maybe just a blast off of those.
Yeah, the pitch shifter thing, of course, gives you a harmony right off the bat, if you want it. Trouble is, it tends to be very rigid. If you've got one harmonizer set to a major third, it's going to sound very sickly after a while. It sounds like this. Did you say that one out? The one extra? Yeah, it's there again. Hang on a second. Yeah, now that's quite a nice sound for one note, but if you go... I'm not going to say what I think that sounds like. It's too insulting. So you want to be able to vary it. So I've had various attempts at varying it, and I have here a board which I took out on the last solo tour that I did, where you can step on things and make different intervals. So I can do this, the major third, the minor third, the two bagpipes in unison effect, and this. And then on the other delay, you can put other things as well. So I can keep my third here, and I can put in a fifth up here. So you have your three-part harmony, which again is nice for one note. Which is actually quite a nice effect, I think. But again, you get sick of it after a while, and it's much nicer if you can change it as you go along. Now, I do it to a certain extent, but you end up thinking with your feet as well as your hands, and it can get confusing. So, for instance, the solo, when we played live with Elton for the ballet thing, which is on the Greatest Hits album, there's just a little piece where I was able to play a three-part thing which changed. So I think it's something like... That's fun, isn't it? I mean, that's a nice thing to play with, and I've had people build me various rigs that do that. These days, delays and harmonizers are so cheap, you can do stuff with them. It was very difficult when we started off. There was not such a thing as a harmonizer when we began. There wasn't anything like that. So the delays were the first opportunity I ever had to put something like that on a stage live. And I still like the delay thing best, I think. This is nice for the odd little set piece, but the delay thing, for some reason, is playable. You can build it up with your head as you go, and I prefer that. You know, if it comes to toys, I like toys which you can play and do something with, put some emotion into. And the delay thing seems to just catch your emotion, and it brings it back to you, you know, so it's a good thing.
Could you do another bit more delay with everybody's champing?
More delay, I can do more of that if you want.
Still fun though.
Yeah, the beginning of it, which everyone used to have a laugh with, really, especially the lighting guys, was I used to start with Jigga Jigga Jing, and Jigga Jing is this, which is the Brighton Rock thing. And it sounds particularly good with this pickup setting.
Fantastic.
We had an idea, didn't we, Simon? You want to do the idea? He had an idea.
And I cried and stamped my feet until Brian said all right. We thought because there's only me up here along with Brian, that we were going to do a whole section on solos, but we've run out of time, unfortunately. So I asked Brian if he would maybe do the We Will Rock You solo, but we need to do all the stamping of the feet and the clapping of the hands. And that's where you lot come in.
It's a funny story, actually, because I don't know if you've heard this before, but it happened because we played Bingley Hall in the Midlands. And the audience just sang everything, including You'll Never Walk Alone when we went off stage. And both Freddie and I thought, we should really use the participation of the audience, and it should become a truly interactive thing. And this is why We the Champions was written, and this is why We Will Rock You was written. And I kind of woke up in bed one night thinking, what would an audience be most able to do? And I thought they would be most able to stamp and clap. And more or less the simplest thing you can do is kind of, alright? And I thought that if you kind of gave this to an audience, that's what would happen. I have to tell you, it has never happened. Because it's actually much easier to go, or whatever, and mostly the floor that people are on does not make the right kind of noise when you stamp on it. I don't know if it makes the right noise here.
Everybody stamp up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2. Yeah, I'll keep it going on. Sounds good to me. This is actually the first time this has ever happened. I may have to stand up.
appreciate it.
Come on, Broadway! Woo!
I have to say, I would love to stay and play through the night, but you'll be very happy to know Mr. Chad Smith is coming along in a short time, so I'm going to stay and watch him, and it's been great being with you. Thanks very much for all your support.